So yeah, let's talk about Bafana Bafana. Yeah, congratulations to the boys. They're almost over the line. We managed to get a draw against Nigeria, our old foes, of course. But the most startling thing that took place last night, both at the stadiums and on social media, I was looking at the chatter online, and there was a startling elephant in the room that I just couldn't shake off. Checked at bars and restaurants, and there was a certain demographic missing in action. And it just begs the question, why is a campaign like Stronger Together only reserved for a sport like rugby? If you look at it from an holistic perspective, football is a bigger sport than rugby. No matter which metric that you use, football is a bigger sport than rugby. So why aren't we using that tool to build the rainbow nation, the Stronger Together nation that we're all looking for? Why is it reserved for a sport that's reserved for elites or for the rich? And I'll provide an example. Something as simple as trying to watch a rugby game. For me personally, I tried to watch the rugby game on Saturday, and I couldn't watch it because it was hidden behind a payment gate on SuperSport. You had to have the highest package in order to stream it. I tried to see on SABC, there was nothing there. Free to air television, which is where most of our population resides in, it was not there. But then you step outside, you go to bars, you go to restaurants, it is streamed everywhere. There's South African flags everywhere. But last night, when Bafana Bafana was playing arguably the biggest game of the year, nothing. You go to a restaurant, nothing. You go to a sports bar, nothing. Granted, I was in a higher LSM area where our Caucasian brothers and sisters reside, and it was radio silence. And this again begs the question, why is a campaign like Stronger Together only reserved for rugby? I mean, even if you look at it from a sponsorship perspective, rugby teams have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to sponsorships. I mean, they're even running out of real estate on their shirts in terms of where to put sponsors. They're even running sponsors on on their flanks of their shirts. I looked at a rugby shirt of the Pumas, which is based in Mpumalanga. They have a plethora of sponsors on their shirts. Rugby teams have so many sponsors that they've even went to the lengths of putting them on their shorts. If you look at the Springboks, they have Betway on their shorts. That just tells you how much riches there are in that sport and how much support there is for that sport. But hello, it is not speaking to the entire nation. And then you get a guy like Tim Zugazi, who is the owner of TS Galaxy. He was complaining that he can't even get a sponsor on his shirt. Hmm? For sure, in football, we have some regulations